when the world has got you down. And
Alzheimer's sucks. It's an equal opportunity disease that chips away at everything we hold dear. And to date, there's no cure. So until there is, we continue to fight with the most powerful tool in our arsenal, love. This is Love Conquers Alls, a real and really positive podcast that takes a deep dive into everything Alzheimer's, the good, the bad, and everything in between. And now, here are your hosts, Susie Singer-Carter and me, Don Priest.
Hello, I'm Susie Singer-Carter.
And I'm Don Priest, and this is Love Conquers Alls. Hello, Susan.
Hello, Donald. How are you today?
Well, couldn't be sweller. It's not a word, but it should be.
Yeah, we've been working so hard that we can't even think of words. We've been working on on launching our other podcast called I Love Lucifer, and it has nothing to do with it. It's but it's a romantic monster comedy. And it's it's going to be so much fun. You guys need to check it out. We're on Apple, we're on Spotify, we're on iHeart. We're launching next Wednesday. See, I can't even think. I'm so tired.
Yes. Yeah. Well, next Wednesday, by the time they see this, it will be many Wednesdays back.
Maybe.
But maybe, unless you're really fast editor.
I am a fast editor.
Maybe it will. Well, okay.
And I'm in that work groove. We have a guest today that I think it just exemplifies exactly like the good, the positive of social media, because there's so much bad to social media, but there is a part of it that is so special, and that it does make the world smaller, and it does make you feel less alone, and you meet amazing people that are like-minded that you would never have the opportunity to meet, and that's our next guest that I'm so excited to have, who lives in Sweden, and we've never met in person, which is crazy because I feel like he's a really good friend of mine. Like, I've talked about him on this podcast before because I just think he's such an amazing soul. And I'm so honored to get to talk to him today.
Absolutely. I mean, we are pretty sure that our guest today holds the Love Conquers All's record for the most distant interview. He lives just a short 5,494 miles away. And Patrick Berglund resides in Motala, Sweden with his wife and two daughters. We met Patrick when he contacted us after seeing our film, My Mom and the Girl. Patrick connected with our film, we think, because one of the passions in his life, and that was caregiving for the elderly. But it seems that he is not your ordinary run-of-the-mill caregiver, because he is known as the singing nurse. And it is our duty to find out why. So let's say, hey, to Patrick Berglund. Hello, Patrick.
Welcome,
hello,
Patrick.
Donna, Susie. Thank you very much. Thank you for being in your podcast. Yes, the newspaper called me the singing nurse. It's because I think if you use as a tool, you use a singing or the song, it makes the old people more comfortable.
Yes.
And it's like it reminds them of songs from the past, and it makes them happy. So when I travel or when I go to the old people where I help them, I always sing. Every time, every day I sing to the people, old people.
It's
and
wonderful.
It makes them more happy, and some of them start to sing with me.
Yeah.
And it's like when you work with people with Alzheimer's or with dementia, they can remember things from the past, not from the day, but from the past, and the music allows them to remember things from when they were young, when they went to school. So
right.
Singing is my best tools to work with old people.
Right.
And I think that's been my motto. I remember my daughter, she asked me, why are you working with old people in elderly care? And I said to my oldest daughter that I want the old people to smile and feel happy.
Aww.
And that's the thing I have all the time. And to work with old people is what you call a blessing.
Yes.
A little thing you do for the old people makes them so happy.
Yep.
You
It's
can,
That's so
true.
wonderful.
yeah. So it's probably
It's true.
it's the best job you ever can have.
Okay, let's
Wow.
just let,
Well,
full stop right there because that is so important because it's such a gift to be around our seniors and
Yes.
and it becomes more important almost to us than to them because which we don't learn that until we experience it. We don't know it, which is why Donna and I want to get this conversation out because most of us, especially in America, we're really afraid of getting older and we're afraid of looking at it and we're afraid of the reality that we think it is instead of actually embracing it and finding all the gifts that are there. And with my mom, in a way, the silver lining of this tragedy that I started out to be such a tragedy became really a pivotal moment in my life that made my life so much richer and better. And I mean, even just down to talking to you. And I just want to throw out a caveat that God bless you, Patrick, because his first language is Swedish, not English, and he's doing damn good. I just want to start off to just say, how did you get, because I want to talk about the music because that's super important to me. So, but I want to talk to you. How did you end up in senior care?
It started when I worked at a retirement care, a home. And there were people who was coming to the old people and I was singing, and I started to remember the songs, and but I used the same melody to every songs. so some of the old people say it's not the right tune, but I say to them, you can sing as you want. But then I started to started to write a book. I took a book that the old people had, and I made it smaller so I could take it to every place I went to, because I was working as in a pole. It's like when you go to different kind of care house, and I was always bringing the book with me. And when we had coffee, I was taking out the book and started to sing, and everyone at the table was singing along. So it was a thing with me. Oh, Patrick is coming. He's going to have the book with him. So now we're going to sing. And everybody started to sing, even though who didn't think they could sing. So I think I sing every day when I work with old people. It starts in the morning and I finished when I'm finished the work.
This is where you're at now as a singer. How did it start? How did you start? How did you begin in caregiving? What led you to it?
When I was working at a factory, and the factory was put down, and I was thinking, what should I do? And they had you can try out if you like to work in elder care. It was 10 weeks. And I went to 10 weeks. And after I think to myself, this is something for me. So I started, before you got employed, you have to work a certain of days. And then I started in a retirement home. And after that, it has been going on for 18 years, and it will be going on until I retire by myself. So it's
I love it.
I mean, yes, you take care of old people, and if you just do a little thing, take the pillow to squeeze it better so they can sleep better, and you have so much grateful for doing that. So it's the small things gives them so much back to me with happiness. So money is nothing compared to helping people if the salary is low. You can give it
because the rewards are
that's
so high.
Yes.
Yes.
So high.
Yeah, and it really reframes the way we look at life, because it does simplify, and it makes you realize what is important. It puts what's important into
Exactly.
perspective, right? You know,
Yes.
and you really, well, especially for me or with people that are whose loved ones have dementia or Alzheimer's, you
Yes.
can only live in the moment, right?
Yes.
Because if you try to keep pulling them into your world and remember, they can't.
No.
And
No,
I have a new phrase, I have a new saying, and it's called memories are so yesterday. Because it's true. Who cares
Yes.
about it? Who cares?
No,
It's so
no.
important now, what's going on now. And
Yes.
so I think it's beautiful, because you started 18 years ago and you're still a young man. So
Yeah.
that means you started at a very young age. and it's beautiful, because I think that we need more of that, because we need that energy and that understanding and the reciprocation. So
You have to understand the old people. I used to say to the young people who starts to work like me, just be kind and tell the people their name all the time, make them comfortable so they can trust you. And it's like, or you should replace yourself. How do you want to be?
right, if
What
you
you
were
call
like
it.
them, if you
Yes.
like empathy,
What would you want? Yeah.
how would you
Exactly.
feel? Right.
Yes, exactly. So it's simple things to make, and I can say everybody doesn't fit to work with old people.
No.
You must have something that makes you. You must know them, speak the same language. I not, but I know the old people. I know what to talk about. Every time I go to a new one, I just look in the room, look at pictures of the relatives, see if there's anything else, and I find something to talk about. And then they just talking themselves. So it's
Yeah.
much easier to find something that you have to come and to talk about.
You're a
Yeah, because it's
natural.
not like, it's not like when you're caregiving for somebody who in your own family, you have that history, you know all of
Yes.
that.
Yes,
So it's quite
exactly.
different. Have you had any experience with having to caregive for anybody in your family?
No, not that. But perhaps sometimes it's easier to talk to the old
Strangers.
people. Yes, than speak to people in my age, because I know what to talk when I
Yes.
talk to
Yeah.
old people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like you learn a lot of the old people, how they lived before in their age when they were young. You hear about the Second War, anything, a lot of things they have been through in the years.
You are obviously a very sensitive person. You love people and you
Yes.
connect with them. And it must be difficult because you're in a situation where you lose these people who how do you separate those human emotions from these people that you really care about? Because and then it's got to be a big juggling act to be able to do that and to maintain your own health.
Yeah.
I remember I told once, it was a couple of weeks ago, to a friend that I work with, that nowadays when people dies, I don't get so emotional as I did when I started. But if you found connection with someone, really connection, then it's hard.
Yes.
When they die. I remember once I was working at the other places, and another old woman who I was connecting a lot to, and she was dying, but I got to my car and drove to the place where she passed away, and I did see her before the funeral was, because I felt in my heart I have to see before they take her away. and sometimes it's you can feel it in the heart.
Yeah.
But you have to think it's your job.
Right. It's part
Well,
of the job. It's part of the job
Part of
description.
yes.
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 Right. And unfortunately it's a double-edged sword, if you understand that.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
because in order to be such a wonderful caregiver like you are, you have to have a lot of heart. And
Yes,
you know,
yes.
and because it's especially when people are aging and lose their some of their cognitive skills, and all they're relying on is their emotion and their
Yes.
feelings of
Yes.
you coming
Yes.
in order to trust you. So you have to be authentic, or they
Yes.
won't be receptive to you, right?
No.
And
Yes.
so it's like any career has, you know, it's collateral damage, right? And
Yes. Yes.
and I see it because my mother's had Alzheimer's for so long, and I've
Yes.
gotten close to some of the residents that I go
Yes.
and when we visit,
Yes.
and they become my friends. And
Yes.
I
Yes.
care about them like family. We hug and I kiss them, and
Yes. Yes.
I also sing every time I'm there. Singing is
Yes.
very important to us. And
Yes.
they always say, Susie, sing more, sing more.
Yeah.
And they always want to sing. So
Yeah.
we sing and sing and sing and sing and sing. But, you know, when I find out that some of the people that I got so close to, it's heartbreaking when they pass away.
It is. But I used to say it's life.
Yes.
You go, you was born and you work and you get kids, and then you go through the end of the life. But the most thing is, when you are near the death, you should not suffer. You should have
Right.
friends, somebody who's sitting next to the person, relatives, or like me, if they don't have any relatives, nobody should leave the earth with someone not sitting near them.
Next to them.
Because I have sit at a lot of people and hold their hands and just clap their head or the arms, something like that.
You are,
So,
you
no.
are, yeah. This is, what you do is so, well, first of all, it's so heartwarming, I'm going to cry. But it's just so important, and it's so generous and beautiful.
Selfless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and beautiful. And it's true, like nobody should leave the world alone.
No.
And I always, and I refer to, you know, even my mother's exit is very long, but I'm going to hold her hand the whole way.
Yes.
Because she
Yes.
shouldn't have to go alone.
The care situation here is because it's all private. I mean,
Yes.
there is state run, but it's
Yeah.
not good. What is the situation there in Sweden? Is it private or is it public?
I was working at the state run for 18 years, but now I'm finished because I'm going to start in a private. It's because in the state run you work, I just have to look, every other week. And if you've done that for 18 years, in weekend everything happens with the family, and so it was enough for me. So I have started a new job in a private care, and I will work Monday to Friday, 7 to 16 instead. And then I can have I'll be with the family and be with my. I'm a team leader for a ladies soccer, and I can go to the matches and like that.
No,
You
great.
can't do that if you work every
Week.
other weekend.
Right.
Week.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but the state run is very good here in Sweden. The thing is that some of the private private caregiver, they are thinking more at the money,
Right.
always the money. So the giving is not so good at some part of the private caregiver.
Interesting,
Right.
because you think, oh, you're getting more, that the care will be better, but it's quite the opposite.
Opposite. Yeah.
Well,
because
because
we have some. Yeah.
because you have national health care, so your healthcare system provides fairly well for
Yes.
for the caregivers, and so
Yeah.
it doesn't be it be, and that's what we need here. We're
Yes.
working towards that because we don't have that. And my mother is in a place now, and I talk about it all the time, but it's a facility that is a private facility. It's the Jewish home,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
my mom ran out of money after, when you have a disease for so long that you need care, you do run out of money. You will. That's
Yes.
just a fact.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what economic level you're at, you will
Yes.
run out.
No.
And
Yes.
they provided, they earmark a certain amount of rooms that they will provide for the rest of your life. But that's rare here. Most people end up in a
Very,
state.
very few people, can get that. It's
And
so
our state
rare.
run, it's the opposite here.
I see some program on television that's when you see it, you don't understand how do you treat the old. They built up the country. You should treat them as well as you can, and they should have the best time the rest of the time they live. That's my it's like we had in Motala, we had a place where the old people can go and eat. It was in the state run, but some of the politicians thought they could earn some money by shutting down it. But they didn't understand that when the people go to eat together, it's not just to eat together, it's a social thing, and you eat better, and you can talk to other people, and you feel a lot of better. You don't get sick. But what happens when the stupid politician shut it down? It made people sick. They didn't
Right.
eat anything. They fall in the house or in the apartment, and the what you say illness, psychological illness was worse for the old people. So so if I
Patrick,
had
And it gave them,
Yeah.
it gave them something to look forward to. Also, it just gave
Yes.
them, a purpose.
Yeah.
And
exactly
Well, it's really, all you have to do is look at what happened during COVID here.
Yes.
When, just with in the facilities like my mom's, where they weren't going to the dining room anymore. Everyone had to stay in their room, especially during the really
Exactly.
bad months. We lost so many people. There were so many residents
Exactly.
that passed
Yeah.
away that were healthy.
exactly.
not only because of COVID. It was just
No,
they,
it was
they,
because
they
of-
lost their will. They lost
Yes.
their,
They lose the will to live.
Yes.
When you don't talk to anybody and you
Yes.
just sit in the room, you have nothing to do.
It's terrible.
You're not
It's a-
living. You're existing.
No,
Yeah,
no,
you're
exactly.
only existing. Yeah.
It's the
You
big.
must act.
Go on.
Yeah, you must activate the old people. Do things with them.
Right.
It makes them more joyful. And
It makes
if you
all of
do
us more
things-
joyful.
Yes.
Nobody
yes.
wants to sit in a room by themselves.
No.
No, it's
I
bad.
I told the politician, if you will get your food and you eat at your office alone, try that, and then you understand how it is with the
Right.
old people that you have shut down the center for.
Well, by the way, it's a punishment when you go into solitary confinement. When you go to jail,
Yeah.
they put you in solitary. It's called a punishment.
That's the worst.
It's the worst
Yeah.
thing you can do.
Yes.
I'm reading a book right now with this woman who was put into solitary, and the mental havoc that it plays on you when you're alone in a room, and especially
Yes.
think about the our residents that have dementia and Alzheimer's
Yes.
who can't remember why they're there alone,
No.
why they're wearing a mask, why
No.
the nurse is wearing a mask.
No.
It's
And
right.
then the only thing the only thing that's going on is what's going on in their head, which
Yes.
we don't know what that
No.
is,
Yeah.
but we know that it's it's limited, And
Yes.
so, I mean, think of it, if you were, fully cognizant, that
Yeah.
it would be difficult. But if you don't know what world they're even living in, so they need that
No.
external stimulation, and not to have that it's torture.
It's torture. It's
So,
torture.
I
Yeah.
believe I believe Alzheimer's is probably the worst illness that you can get. Unfortunately, it is, because sometimes you don't remember your relatives. You don't, as you said, Don, you don't know where you are, and somebody tells you to do something and you don't know how to do it.
Right.
It's like I remember when I was working with dementia people for 10 months. I said to an old man who has Alzheimer's to go to his bathroom, and it just was next door, but he was going around and around and around in the toilet. He couldn't find where to make his things.
Right.
to go, yes.
No. So it's a tragic sickness, but
It is.
hopefully
But,
Yeah, I mean, and it kind of, in a really weird way, brings me to the fact that Alzheimer's is tragic. We are trying to find a silver lining, the most positivity you can get out of it, and that's why we made the film we made.
Yes.
And that's what hooked you. How did you come across our film, and why did it resonate with you? Because we felt, like, oh, this will only, resonate to a certain amount of people. We found that it resonates with so many people. What was your experience? How did that all happen?
Yeah, I just found it out on the internet, and I felt it fascinates me how Alzheimer's are, and it was so alive, that movie, and it brings a message to everybody what kind of sickness it is. It's like in Sweden we have a famous actor called Sven Wollter. He played against his wife, and he had Alzheimer's.
Oh.
And you can see it step by step how it changed your personality.
Yes.
It's sad to see, but it's important. It's like your movie. It's important to watch it to understand and to deal with things that makes it easier to understand people with Alzheimer's. Because I believe sometimes when I meet relatives to people who have Alzheimer's, they don't understand how to cope with them.
No.
How to deal with the mother or the father. They just say, she's just forget things.
Right.
It's the age. But you have to,
it's not.
I believe
No.
you have to put in the right things as soon as possible when you see things that's going on the Alzheimer's way.
And there are ways
that's
to
important.
talk about it. There's ways to communicate in new ways
Yes.
with people that have Alzheimer's and dementia, because although they're losing their skills, they're still there. And you just have to use different ways of communicating, like we do with children. So when children don't have the skills yet, we talk to them on the level that they can communicate, that they can comprehend. So like with my mother, I use those tools, and I speak to her in ways that I know that she needs to be spoken to. I speak slowly. I give her time to think about it. It takes her time to process. I mean, if I am patient, I can say to her, Mom, did you miss me? I'll tell her a joke. I say, you better. And I wait. And then she'll go, but it takes her that long because, otherwise we talk to them as we would someone who doesn't have it, and then it's really that simple. It's that simple to say,
There's something we talked about before, which is the 20-second rule, which is basically it may take them that amount of time to just process one thing. So if you asked them something and you gave them 20 seconds to process and then get out the communication, But imagine if you ask them something and then 4 seconds later you ask them something else, and then
they can't.
That's why they go silent. That's why they go silent.
Exactly.
They can't. They
I mean,
can't
have you
keep
found
up.
that? No.
Yeah.
Because when I see people who probably have Alzheimer's, I ask them what they ate to breakfast, and they can't remember. But then I ask them, which school did you went to when you were a child? And they can remember. They can remember the teacher.
Sure.
And it's a simple thing to do. But as you say, Susie, you have to take down your how you speak to them. Go down and slow down and let them think as they remember things slowly.
Slowly,
You don't have to rush. Yeah.
Then they can trust that you're really there with them.
Exactly.
And they're not going to fail you, because if they feel like they can't, if they're going to fail you and you're going to just give up, then they'll just shut down.
It's when I work with people with Alzheimer's or dementia, you have to be patient. You have to, as I told before, you have to be slow, take it easy, and don't bring a lot of things. Don't ask too much. It's like when you give them a dinner. You don't put so many plates on the table, just one. Not too many things. And as we have color blue on the plate because they see the food better when it's on blue. And don't take, it's easier. And don't have like 4 forks or many glasses, or just have a few things.
Right.
Because if they see a lot of things, they don't know what should I take.
Right.
Simple things.
Overwhelming. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I play different roles when I go to people. I play out one kind of roles when I go to people with Alzheimer's, and one role when I go to other people. And you kind of what do you say, that fits them.
Right.
And when you work with dementias, you have to look at the people and see how they react. What can I say? What can I do? And just don't go in and just tell them you have to put your pants on, you have to brush your teeth, and you have to just look around before you say anything. And how should I act in that apartment with that person?
That's the lean in, as Susie always says. You have to lean into them, into their world, not bring them into yours.
No, exactly.
Right.
And you entering in their home, and you have to respect their atmosphere and their home.
Right.
And their situation, and their
situations.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. So.
What is the best piece of advice that you could give after doing this for almost 20 years? What is the best thing that you've learned?
The best thing I learned is to every day when you go to people, make the best day to them when you're working. Make it the best, and just be yourself, and make them be happy and smile. And sometimes it doesn't go, but try to do the best thing for them, and just be yourself, and don't think about time, don't think about anything else. Just do the things that you can feel good when you leave the door.
Right. That's beautiful.
Make every moment the best it can be, and
And,
because that's all we have. And they live, especially when somebody's living moment to moment.
Yes.
That's all they have. They're not going to remember what happened 2 minutes ago. So each moment you have to make, so that's wonderful. That's beautiful.
It's really beautiful. Okay, now sing us a song. I'm kidding. What's your favorite song? What's your favorite song that you sing to them?
What's your go-to?
I'll tell you mine if you tell.
My favorite song is In sommarens soliga dagar vi går över skogar och hagar. På färdens besvär ingen klagar. Vi sjunga var vi går. Hallå, hallå, du som är ung, kom med och sjung. Och sitter hemma slö och tro och sånga trotten gångar upp på kungens allra högsta topp. I sommarens soliga dagar vi sjunga var vi går. Hallå, hallå.
Yay!
That's amazing because that's Susie's go-to song.
I sing that all the time.
That's a song that they used to sing when they finished school when they were young.
So the
So
graduation.
it's got deep roots.
Yeah, it's a summer song when they finish the school and they have the vacation for summer.
Nice.
Hello,
Yeah,
hello,
nice.
hello.
Hello. Yeah, that's nice.
Well,
You two should do an album.
really, I know. Whenever I go, they say to me, they say, you sing like you're Barbara Streisand, or like they think I sing so well. It's such a easy crowd. I love it. Yeah, it's wonderful. It's wonderful what you do. I love it. I love it.
But it's as I said, I don't want to change the job. I want to work with old people. I had a thought that I want to go back to the factory, but then I told myself, would you like to be in a corner in a factory and not meeting people? No, it's not for me. Mm-hmm. So I will stay and work with old people.
Yeah, well, that would be a waste if you did. If you didn't, that would be a tragedy because you are one of a kind and you're an angel, and I know that just from seeing your posts and your support for me we never met, and you just have such a spirit. You have two gorgeous daughters that you absolutely adore, and I have two gorgeous daughters. So I felt very, kismet with you, and I see what a good dad you are, and what a good you're just a good person, and it's just a pleasure to get to know you, Patrick, and I hope we get to meet in person one day.
Yes. One day we'll do that.
We'll do that because I think my mother was a big traveler. She loved to travel, and in fact, she had a relationship with a man named Sven, a Swedish man.
Yeah.
Sven, a very handsome, blonde, beautiful man.
Sven is a common name for the old people here. Sven.
Yes, Sven.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, is there anything that we haven't covered? Anything you want to say? Any words of wisdom?
Word of wisdom.
I think
take care of your old people. Don't forget them, and visit them a lot. And remember, they give you birth to the earth, and give them something in rich.
Yes.
No, that's
listen them a lot, because you will regret it if you don't.
Yep.
Great.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
Great.
Well,
and stay always positive.
Yes.
Yes.
Always look at the bright side of life.
Side of life.
Always look at the bright side of life. There you go.
Oh God, right. Our music budget just went out the window.
It's a podcast.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
It's a podcast. Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you so much. God, it went fast, right, Don? Yeah. It went
Definitely.
fast.
Yeah. Zipped by.
Yeah. Well, I was looking forward to this, and you did not disappoint. And
thank you for it.
You did.
Thank you for interviewing me, Don and Susie. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much
for being with us today.
Patrick,
it was
my pleasure.
It was joyous.
We love you, and it goes along with the theme of our show, which is love conquers all. And what do we say, Don?
Yeah. We always say that love is powerful, love is contagious, and love conquers all. And we will definitely see you next time.
Definitely. Bye.
Thanks.
Subscribe.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.